És már is felálltak a rajthoz a következő versenyfutamoknak résztvevője. Ugye nem más, mint a Formula regionál bajnokság Alpine. Ugye ez egy olasz kezdeményezés, hiszen az olasz szövetség az ACI rendezi, ahhoz képest ugye, hogy az Alpine egy francia márka, és gyakorlatilag a Formula Renault bajnokságnak a modern változatát láthatjuk. Amikor a délelőtt időmérő edzésén sokat beszélgetünk Lantival arról, hogy ez egy nagyon erős bajnokság, nagyon sok versenyző, ugye jelenleg is 34 autó áll a rajtrácson, és hogy ebből a bajnokságból bizony kerülnek ki ketten, hárman is minden évben, akik utána a Formula 3-ra kapnak, vagy vesznek maguknak lehetőséget, ahogy ez történt a tavalyi év győzteseivel is, hiszen ahogy elmondtuk már többször videóperával is, és többek között elvileg is már ezek három versenyez, akik tavaly még itt kontaktálták az aszfaltot. Tehát egy 30 fős mezőnyben megint csak a magyar pilóta, a 19. helyen rajtoló és 11-es rajtszámot viselő Preises lehetőnek drukkolhatunk.
It's just 12 points between the top four in the championship as we go into the fifth race of the season in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. And none of those four will be starting from pole position as we welcome a new pole sitter this season and a new pole sitter in the championship in Josh Dufek, who became the 16th different driver in FIA history to take pole position. This is going to be the stage. It's the Hungaroring circuit, the 4.3 kilometer circuit, which can provide very, very tricky conditions for the drivers. But today, absolute scorcher out there, the track temperature very high. The tricky conditions will come in keeping the tyres in temperature. It's going to be a really, really good race, I'm sure. Yesterday we had a cracking battle going on for the last step on the podium. Will we see similar proceedings today? My name's Chris McCarthy. A welcome back to you regular viewers, and a welcome to any of you new viewers as well. You've tuned in at a good time there. You can see the 13 car of Josh Dufek for Van Amersfoort Racing, just like they did last year, taking pole position. And last year they took the win from pole position with Kaz Havercourt, well in contention for the championship fight. Starting alongside him on the front row, Martinius Stenchorn, who leads the way in the championship, took the win from pole position yesterday. Can he do the double? He'd only be the fourth driver in history to do so if he could do it. Tim Tramnitz becoming the third driver to do that after Gregoire Saucy and Paul Aron when he took 2 wins at Barcelona. There you can see the grid is now clear, and we're getting closer to the 30 minutes plus 1 lap race. No pit stops in FIA. It is a straight sprint all the way to the end. We don't see them come through pit lane either unless they have damage. Final words being said by some team members, and then the drivers will be with their own thoughts as we get ready to go racing. So Josh Dufek is going to be on pole position. Martinius Stenchorn alongside him. Lorenzo Flusha, his best qualifying of the season so far as he put his car on the inside of row 2. Then Matteo Capietto took his best ever qualifying performance in FIA to put RPM at the front. Once again, they had a podium yesterday with Santiago Ramos. Sadly for him, he picked up some problems. Well, there you can see crowds taking their seats. It's been a really popular championship around the paddock this weekend, and this is the drivers we're going to be watching. Josh Dufek and Martinius Stenchorn on row 1, Lorenzo Flusha and Matteo Capietto on row 2. Kaz Havercourt, who finished second yesterday, will be alongside Michael Belov. Always in the top 10 is Belov. Tim Tramnitz will be on row 4 with Roman Belinsky, who took third from that exact position in this race last year. Lawrence Van Hoopen and Andrea Kimi Antonelli round out the top 10. Kimi Antonelli definitely one to watch. Sami Megatunev just outside it with fellow Frenchman Owen Tangavelu. Then we have Santiago Ramos. Problems for him in qualifying, stopped him from fighting from pole. So let's see what he can do from P13. Rafa Kamara comes next. Then it's Delano Van't Hoff and Esteban Masson on row 8. Welcome back to him. Mateus Zagazeta is on row 9 with Alessandro Giusti for G4 Racing. Levente Revech, the home hero, is going to be on row number 10 with Nikhil Bora, who's slowly starting to grow into the weekend. Marcus Armand will be just outside the top 20 with Kirill Smile. Let's see what he can do. Tom Leben, his best qualifying since entering the championship. He's alongside Victor Bernier. Then is Enzo Scionti and Adam Fitzgerald, the Irishman. Giovanni Maschio is going to be on row 14 with Joshua Dirksen. Giovanni confident going into this one when I spoke to him earlier. Emo Fittipaldi Jr. and Niels Kolen will be on row number 15. And rounding out the field, we have Charlie Wirtz and Alex Partashev, and behind them, Lucas Medina and Maya Ver. Now, the two cars on the back row of the grid were given penalties post-race and post-qualifying. Lucas Medina, after the Turn 1 incident yesterday, which saw Nikhil Bora completely wiped out of the race. Lucas Medina taking himself out of the race in the process as well. He has been given a 3-place grid drop for that incident, and Maya Verg has been put to the back of the grid for not having the minimum of 3 litres of fuel in her car after qualifying. So all her laps were essentially deleted, meaning she didn't set a time, so she will start from the back of the grid. Well, there's Lawrence Van Hoopen. He'll be hoping for a cleaner race today. He had an incident with teammate Marcus Armand yesterday coming into Turn 5. There's Michael Beloff, 25 out of 28 top 10 finishes in the 28 races he's taken part in, been in the top 10 in 25 of them, hugely consistent. He'll be hoping to add to that, but 4th place for him yesterday. He was pretty frustrated with that, really wanted to get that car on the podium. We've seen him do it before. Let's see if we can see him do it again. We saw the 77 there of Tim Tramnitz, who said he just didn't have the pace today. Was something he was a little bit frustrated with in himself, but one thing he did say is that this is all damage limitation this round. Maybe they don't quite have the pace they were hoping for, but as long as he gets some points, he is happy. And speaking of points, this is the situation in the championship as we go into this race. Martin Stenchorn leads the way on 74 points after his win yesterday. After his 2nd place, Kaz Havercourt is on 68 points. He's 6 points behind. Andrea Kimi Antonelli on 64 points, 10 points behind Stenchorn. Then Tim Tramnitz, 4th in the championship, was leading going into yesterday. He's on 62 points, 12 points back. Those top 4, we've got Stenchorn leading the way. He's going to start on the front row. Havercourt will start from P5, 2nd in the championship. 3rd, Antonelli will start from P10, so he has to make some ground up and get some points on the board. Tramnitz will start from P7. He is 4th in the championship. Our championship leader, though, his first ever pole, like I said, Josh Dufek, currently 6th in the standings on 30 points, so 44 back from Martini Stenchorn. But a win here could really see him close the gap to those 5 drivers he has ahead of him, and maybe even boost him to 5th in the championship. Well, they're getting ready to go 30 minutes plus a lap. They get to use the push-to-pass system, which gives them 15 seconds of additional engine performance 5 times in the race. They can use that anytime they want after we cross the start-finish line to complete lap number 1. If there is a safety car restart like we had yesterday, then they can use it as soon as they cross the start-finish line. And drivers say, as you get to the start-finish line, just ahead of Dufek there to the left of screen, that is usually when you are using it. So let's see what they can do. We saw some great overtakes yesterday from Kaz Havercourt and Andrea Kimi Antonelli, who went from 3rd to 1st at the first corner, and his teammate Lorenzo Flusha starts 3rd place. He will be hoping to repeat that process. There's Charlie Wirtz in the all-gold livery. Fantastic looking car is that one, but Charlie Wirtz not having the best of times so far this season. Long season ahead though, this round 3 of 10, this race 2 of the season. There is Maya Verg in the 64. She's been put to the back of the grid, like I said, and we're so many of us, 34 on the grid, that she has to start on the turn. And you can see the Santilot car of Lucas Medina now flying round as well. Well, I think that's pretty much everything set on the grid. There we have a look down. It's a long, long grid, isn't it? But at the very front of it, we have the rookie, Martinius Stenchon, starting to the left of screen. And for the first time ever, Josh Dufek starts on pole to the right. And we are go for race 2 here at the Hungaroring. And a brilliant launch for Stenchon. Looks like he might take the lead in towards turn number 1. There you see him to the left of screen. We're going to be 3 wide to the right of screen. That's Lorenzo Flusha. Disastrous start for Dufek. Let's see if he can limit the damage loss, but Stenchon it is who leads us out of turn 1. Almost a bit of contact there with Flusha, who gets back in the tow immediately, dives to the outside now, in towards turn number 2. Big lock up there for Kaz Havikor, almost going into the side of his teammate of Dufek there. Dufek, I think, dropped back to 5th place possibly. We had a big lock up there for Alessandro Giusti. That looked like one of the MP cars, the orange liveried cars, running off there through turn number 3. In towards 4 we go now for the first time, and it is Martinius Stenchon. Great start to the race. He immediately leads. Yesterday he lost the lead from pole position at turn 1. This time he's done the absolute opposite, takes it from P2 as Flusha is in 2nd. It is Dufek in 3rd place, then Capietto in 4th. Dufek's teammate Kaz Havikor running in 5th place. Looked like he was maybe the car that had the lock-up and lost a couple of places. Then we have Tramnitz, who's moved up to 6th. Van Hoopen is in 7th. Belov is 8th. Belinsky is 9th. Behind that, it is Antonelli in P10. Down to turn 12 for the first time. A couple of drivers going side by side. There we see Esteban Masson in the blue and white trying to get round the outside of one of the MP cars. Looks like that's Delano Vantov. He's battling away with an Owen Tangavelu. I think that might be trying to go round the outside of the pair of them. In fact, it's Nikhil Bora in the Trident getting down the inside into the final corner. Great racing to kick things off here, and push to pass is now active as they cross the start-finish line. Will we see anyone using it? Josh Dufek might want to use it to try and get a place back, but he just has to settle into the race. There's a dive bomb there from Roman Belinsky, the Trident driver, going side by side with Michael Belov. Little bit of contact between them on the exit of the corner, but is that the move complete for the Polish driver? Head to head we go into turn 2. Michael Belov not having any of it at all, but Belinsky's going to go all the way around the outside, now down the inside into turn 3, and they're still side by side as we come up the hill towards turn 4. Great racing between these two, and Belinsky has completed the move. Oh dear, that's Alex Partishev who is off. Then I can hear someone else has definitely gone off through the headset there. Sounded like we had a spin somewhere, but that's Alex Partishev who is off, and that means the safety car has been deployed. Well, we will settle down just like we had yesterday at the end of the first lap. There was an incident on lap 2. In fact, it was on lap 1, wasn't it? Is this where we had the incident? It was into turn 1. Oh dear. Partishev trying to get down the inside of Niels Golan there, and Charlie Vert's a bit of an innocent victim. The car lighting up there, unfortunately. This is back to live pictures. Alex Partishev not happy with Niels at all, but I think Niels fighting his case there. Well, an unfortunate incident. Partishev trying to make the move, contact made. I think Niels saying to him, we were 3 wide into there. Both of them out of the race. I think we have another car out the race as well. Looks like Charlie Verts will be out the race. So 3 cars lost, sadly, in the early stages. And we are under safety car here at the Hungaroring in race 2, round 3 of the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. There is the Alpine safety car. Some stricken cars, I'm sure, as we come through turn number 1. Well, let's go through where our championship leaders are in this race, and we'll go through the full order while we're at it as well. So Stenchon leading from Flusha. Dufek, having started pole, is now down in 3rd. Capietto is 4th place, doing a really good job trying to get what would be his first podium if he could get there. Havikor in P5, Tramnitz 6th, Van Hoopen 7th, Belinsky after that brilliant move on Belov is now 8th, Belov in 9th, Kimi Antonelli is in P10. So we have Antonelli down in 10th, we have Stenchon leading the way, Havikor is 5th, and Tramnitz then, let's have a look and identify exactly where Tim Tramnitz is. Looks like he's perhaps lost a few, no, he's down in 6th place, apologies. So Tramnitz in 6th place, So all of them in the top 10. And Stenchon, this would extend his championship lead even further. His nearest championship rival of those four is down in P5 there, Havercourt on the 27 that we saw going through picture. So this would be a really good result, but there is a long way to go in this race. 25 minutes plus the additional lap at the end. And the cars now bunching up and just trying their best to keep the tyres up to temperature before that safety car will be rolled in. It didn't look like there was much more in terms of a clear-up to do there, so hopefully we will see the safety car in this lap or next time around. I'd imagine it would be the latter because it's still showing up that the safety car is deployed. As we see Joshua Dirksen there running in 23rd place. Not been the start of the season he would have hoped for, but next time out we go to Spa, and that is where Arden have had some fantastic results over the couple of seasons we've had in this championship so far. That takes place when the Spa 24 hours on, so we're supporting that event. On the 30th of June will be race 1, the 1st of July race 2, and then another event quickly following that will be Mugello, round number 5, the 8th and 9th of July. Then we go to Paul Ricard 2 weeks after that, so they come thick and fast. That's going to be on the 22nd and 23rd of July, and then a summer break. And we come back in September, at the start of September for the Red Bull Ring. And then Monza will be round 8 a week after that on the 16th and 17th of September. And then a month later, 14th and 15th of October will be round 9 at Zandvoort. And then a week after that, we go to Hockenheim for the very first time. That's where we're going to end our season. That's said to be an absolutely cracking last venue, especially with the championship situation that appears to be playing out. 4 in the fight, and Dufek and Ramos trying to chase them down. We could have many more drivers come into play. It's such a closely bunched field is this one. Michael Belov starting in 6th place was 100th of a second away from Stenchon on the front row. It was so close. 0.2 of a second could have gained you about 4 or 5 rows. That's how close it was in qualifying. We split the cars into 2 groups for it, so you're fighting for which row of the grid you start on as they come up through the hill. And safety car will be in this lap. Right, so Stenchon now going through the process. I'm sure he's getting used to leading these races now, isn't he? This would be his 3rd win if he could take it, but over 20 minutes still to go in this race. He's been on the podium in all 5 races so far. As a winner, podium finisher, or rookie winner, he's took all 5 rookie wins. The record for rookie wins in a single season is 8, which was set by Isaac Hadjar on his way to winning the rookie title in 2021, and he's doing pretty well now, isn't he, in Formula 2, a Red Bull Junior as well, and it was that season that saw him spotted by Red Bull. We've got Mercedes Juniors, Ferrari Juniors as well, Sauber Academy drivers. Stenchon not one of those, but he keeps putting in performances like this. I imagine that could change during this season. For now, let's concentrate on this race, though. Lights go out on the safety car. Yesterday, Kimi Antonelli was leading us, and he got his foot down just out of this corner on the run up to the penultimate corner. Will Stenchon take the same approach? Will he lead us round a little bit more? Remember, push to pass becomes active as soon as they cross the start-finish line, and there we go. Just like Kimi Antonelli did, Stenchon is going to get his foot to the floor coming up to turn 13, now in towards 14. Seems to have got a decent restart there. Is Flusha in that 7 red and white PREMA that's going to be under pressure from Dufek as they come out the final corner now, down the start-finish straight. Also trying to make a move there was Tim Tramnitz. He's right on the gearbox of Kat Havercourt. You can see them to the left of screen as we make our way down towards turn number 1. Also Van Hoopen defending from Belinsky, who wants to get another podium just like he did here last year. But look at Tramnitz round the outside of Havercourt. Fantastic driving from the RHGB driver, and he is going to make a place, and now he's going to try and pick up another one there on the RPM driver of Capietto. Oh dear, spin. We've got Havercourt and Tramnitz. They've come together facing each other now. And Tramnitz and Havercourt, let's see if they can get back going again, but that's a real shame. That's 2 of our championship contenders out of the running. possibly out of the race as well. We'll find out in a few seconds if the safety car is needed. It looks like Tramnitz was getting going again. But those two were side by side coming out of turn 1 and then again in towards turn number 2. Contact made, and they're both now facing each other, and that's going to move Bielinski up into 6th place. Van Hoopen jumps up to 5th, Belov up to 7th, Antonelli goes up to 8th, Megatuniv 9th, Ramos is now 10th, and safety car is out. Safety car deployed and running very wide. There was a Flusha coming out of turn 11. Oh, it's for Havercourt. What a shame. Kaz Havercourt jumping out of the car. Felt that was where he was starting, was very confident that he could score good points. With Antonelli starting down in 10th, he was confident that this could do him really good in the championship. 2nd place in the running so far, only 6 back from Stenchorn, but that looks set to change, and possibly change quite dramatically if the race stays as it is. Well, that's a real shame for Havercourt. Out the race, he's had a real good run so far this season. He's been in the points 4 of the 5 races we've had, and 13th has been his worst result. There we go. So he was side by side with Tramnitz coming into the corner, and Tramnitz tagged and spun round. Looked like Havercourt was deep on the brakes, Tramnitz on the outside, contact between them. Tramnitz, I'm sure, will be a little bit displeased with that one. That sees him tumbling down the order, and the worst part there, as a driver, I'm sure, is waiting for all the cars to go past you before you can get going again. Well, this has worked out good for some drivers, as I said. Van Hoopen up to 5th, Bielinski up to 6th, Belov 7th, Antonelli 8th, Megatuniv is now 9th, a man known for being good at making places up. Let's see if he can get on the move. Ramos in 10th, but Bielinski to me looks like the one getting his elbows out the most so far. He the one committed to making a couple of overtakes there. Dufek, I'm sure, will be the same likewise, having started this race from pole position. And then we've got Antonelli there in the number 12. Yesterday, for those of you who weren't with us in qualifying, if you're wondering what on earth happened to Antonelli leading the race and then dropped to 5th in the space of 2 corners, some sort of electrical issue, it seemed, with the car as he came out of turn 1. The car wouldn't switch up from 4th gear, and that meant he moved over and got out of the way thinking he had a problem, and that allowed 3 cars to go through. And then coming through turn 12, same thing, car slowing up, car was stuck in 4th gear, so he moved aside, Belov went through, and then the issue seemingly fixed itself. But let's see how Antonelli can run throughout the remainder of this race. Okay, here we go once more. Stenchorn getting the distraction tactics going there, weaving the car just to try and put Lorenzo Flusha off slightly. And is he going to go exactly in the same space? I think so, and there we go. Gets his foot down once again, coming up to turn 13. Keep your eyes peeled on that battle for 3rd place. It's going to be incredibly close between Dufek, Cappietto, Van Hoopen, Bielinski, all involved there. Belov likewise as they come through the final corner and onto the start-finish straight. Good restart once more from Stenchorn, and he leads the way down the start-finish straight and towards turn number 1. And there, Van Hoopen getting out of the train, defending from Bielinski. Is Bielinski going to get down the outside and make a move around the outside just like he did already in this race? He's certainly going to give it a go. Side by side with Van Hoopen there, but Van Hoopen politely showing him to the edge of the circuit. Bielinski trying to get down the inside into turn 2. Not going to happen. He's going to have to try the outside. We've seen him do this once already in this race. Not quite able to work that time. So Bielinski for now settles for 6th place. Good defensive driving that from Van Hoopen to hold that position. This would be a best ever result for him if he could hang on to 5th place. His best results coming at Monaco, where he got a pair of 8th place finishes. Round turn 5 they come over the crest, and we see Stenchorn still in that lead. Flusha under pressure in 2nd place from Dufek. Cappietto now the one under pressure in 4th place from Lawrence Van Hoopen. Bielinski watching on, he's dropped back slightly. Is that a strategic move, or was that all because of that side-by-side through turn at number 2? Belov then in P7, Kimi Antonelli 8th. Oh, one of the G4 cars there. That was Giusti trying to get down the inside into 10. Don't see drivers attempting to do that very often, and he's going to lose a place because of it. I saw the black and white G4 car at the top of frame. One of the red and white PREMAs gets down the inside, and that looked to be Rafa Kamara, who's dropped down 5 places in this race, but that will become 4 as he gets through and makes a place. Around the final corner now, and up the straight we go. Stenchorn there leading, his gap is 1 second over Flusha. Flusha looking in his mirrors furiously to see where Dufek is, and now we see Belinsky under pressure from Michael Belov. Belov diving down the outside, tries to get the switchback, can't quite complete it. Is he going to now try the move in towards turn number 2? Belinsky forcing him to go to the outside. We saw Belov trying to do this with Ramos yesterday. Didn't quite manage to get through in the end, but gave it a good few goes, so he would have learnt a lot from that. Will we see Belov now be able to complete that move on Belinsky? 4 in the queue for second place, 1 second to our leader. There we caught the sight of Ramos as well in the orange and green RPM. He's at the back of this queue. Podium finisher from yesterday. Mechanical problems in qualifying gave him no chance to fight for pole position, even though at the start of the session he was doing so. He's in an MP sandwich currently with Megatunev and Delano Vanthoff either side of him. As they come through turns 10 and 11. Let's see what the gap's doing for Lorenzo Flusha. Is he bringing it down to Martini Stenchorn, or is Stenchorn extending it? Kimi Antonelli is the first red and white PREMA you see there at the bottom of picture. He's trying to catch Belov. He hasn't really got involved in that battle yesterday, but he did have those problems in race 1. Will those be slightly affecting him still? Looks like the team did a good job to get everything fixed, but he didn't quite get the lap in he would have hoped for. I think it was one that suffered from not getting across the line and getting a last flying lap like his teammate Rafa Kamara did. And look at the punishment he's received for that. He was 0.8 of a second away from getting a last flying lap. Now finds himself down in 17th place. Oh, at the top of picture there, that's Mateusz Zagazzetta fighting away with Levente Revesh. And also side by side, one of the Monolith cars, I think that was Marcus Amand trying to make it. Marcus Amand, that was, let's have a look, Enzo Scianti, I think this is, here we go. We see them side by side. Giusti fighting away with him as they make their way through turn number 2. .5 minutes plus a lap to go. 1.3 is the gap for Martini Stenchorn over Lorenzo Flusha. Dufek, Capietto, Van Hoopen, your top 5, your top 10, Belinsky, Belov, Antonelli, Megatunev, Ramos, just outside of it. Vanthoff, Nikhil Bora coming through the field very well. He's come from P20 on the grid to P12, doing an absolutely superb job. Here's Nikhil Bora. Esteban Masson just behind him. Got a best ever result for the Santalok team yesterday and looking to improve that today. Then we have Owen Tangavelu, Mateusz Zagazzetta we saw battling away with the likes of Levente Revesh coming through turn 1. Then behind that, Rafa Kamara, Alessandro Giusti, Kirill Smel was the driver fighting away with Joshua Dirksen. Then it is Victor Bernier, Adam Fitzgerald, Enzo Scianti, Emo Fittipaldi, Marcus Amand. Rounds out your top 25. How many push-to-passes have they used? How are the tyres performing? That's going to be things going through the driver's mind. It is very hot out there, and there's been a lot of cars going around today. Lots of GTs, TCR cars, Euro Formula cars as well. So a lot of rubber down, which will mean you really have to look after the tyres. But that's something particularly the likes of Josh Dufek is experienced with in this championship. Likewise, Lorenzo Flusha, Martini Stenchorn, not so much. So will that become a factor as we go into the last 10 minutes? He certainly dealt with it all very well yesterday. Lawrence Van Hoopen in the white and black ART would be getting a much-needed result for that team. They've really struggled overall as a team this year. 18th, 19th and 20th in the championship. Just 8 points between the three of them. They need a break to turn that form around and be the ART Grand Prix that we've known in this championship. We watched Gregoire Saucy win in 2021. Gabriele Mini did a fantastic job fighting for the title last year. Laurens van Hoopen, is he now about to put them on the podium? A top 5 finish would be a very well-received result, and ART then could be the team to watch going into the next round. RPM also doing a superb job. Can they get 2 podiums in the same weekend? Ramos did the work yesterday. Capietto, it's down to him now today. 10 minutes exactly, plus a lap to go. Belov and Bielinski, this fight is far from over, I'd say. Bielinski is now 9/10 of a second back from Van Hoopen in 5th place, and he's got Michael Belov to contend with as well. Then it is Kimi Antonelli, then it is Ramos just behind Mega Tunif. Those two fighting for 9th place. Here we see Lorenzo Flusha dropping back from Martinius Stenchorn. Martinius Stenchorn, last time around, did a new fastest lap of the race, did a 1:40.967. He was half a second quicker than Lorenzo Flusha and Josh Dufek. Roman Bielinski struggling a little bit with pace at this stage of the race. 8/10 slower than Stenchorn, and you can see the damages of that. He's dropped right into the clutches of Belov now. Bielinski looking to add to the points that he picked up at Barcelona. Track he really enjoys racing at. This would be his best result of the season so far if he can get it. They seem to be splitting up into small groups now, don't they? This is a replay of the number 21 Mola Leeds car just running wide. We go back to live pictures now. Kirill Smale we saw running wide out the final corner there. Good to have him in the championship. Stood on the podium at the 24 Hours of Le Mans last year, racing in an LMP3 car for CD Sports, finishing in 3rd place. What an atmosphere, 325,000 people at that circuit last weekend. Kirill Smale stood on the podium. Coming on the podium just after him was Valentino Rossi, as he took a podium in GTs. Won that race. Okay, let's go back to the racing we're watching. Oh, wow! That's a big change of direction there for Santiago Ramos, and that's going to see him go off the circuit. Does recover it eventually, but Santiago Ramos thought he was going straight into the back of Sami Megatunif in the MP car and found himself off the circuit, so he's lost a place to Delano Vanthof. Oh no, that's Mateusz Zagazeta. The RSGP driver has come to a stop. The man known for finishing every single race he's done in this championship cleanly. There is, that looks like Alessandro Giusti walking away from his car, and the safety car is out once again. So not good news for Martinius Stenchorn, although he's dealt with both restarts so far very, very well, but he's going to have to do it again, and Lorenzo Flusha will be hoping to get on the attack as soon as the restart happens. Has had 2 restarts now to get used to Stenchorn and how he goes about them. Right, let's see what happens. So this was Ramos. There you can see, made a change of direction in the braking zone, locked up, went over the curb on the outside of the circuit, and that means he's lost 10th place to Delano Vanthof, teammate to Megatunif. Oh, and there we go, Giusti in the G4 car to the left of screen. Mateusz Zagazeta, I think, giving him a bit of a round of applause. Very frustrated, clearly. And that the first time, Mateusz Zagazeta, since joining the championship last season, that he is not going to take the checkered flag. It's been a very, very difficult weekend for him. He'll have to bounce back after Spa and going forward. We've got lots of rounds coming up, so plenty of races still to come as we slow down behind the safety car once more. There, Andrea Kimi Antonelli. Currently running in P8. So we're going to have some drivers in this top 4 championship fight so far not score any points. Those would be Kaz Havercourt and Tim Tramnitz. He is running in P22, so his recovery has actually been very, very impressive. But he'd have to make 12 places in 5.5 minutes. It could be difficult, but let's not write anything off with the way this race is going. But if he wasn't to score any points, then Andrea Kimi Antonelli in P8 would score 4 points, drawing him level on 68 with Kaz Havakor in second place. And Stenshorn, who's on 74 points, would extend his gap significantly, wouldn't he? Go up to 99. We use the same point system as Formula 1. 25 for the win, 18 for second, 15 for third, 12 for fourth, 10th for fifth, and then we go down in twos. 2 points for ninth place, a single point for P10. No points for fastest lap or pole position. So he would be all the way up to 99 points and have a comfortable gap of 31 points over Kaz Havakor. But let's not forget, we've got Ramos fighting away. He's just dropped out the points. Dufek would climb a significant amount of points as well. He'd add another 15, so 45, but Stenshorn would be in a comfortable championship lead going to Spa. Okay, is Stenshorn, as the safety car comes in, is he going to take the same approach for the third time? Will Flusha be closer than ever? He went slightly earlier that time, didn't he? Martinius Stenshorn, it was on the apex of turn number 12. And that, I think, has slightly caught Lorenzo Flusha out, and it's given him a bit of a gap, and it's given Josh Dufek a chance to get past in towards turn number 1. Push to pass active as soon as they cross that start-finish line. Are we going to see anyone in the top 10 using it as they go across the line? Dufek didn't look like he was using it, but he's right there in third place. Capietto right there in fourth place. Belov is defending from Andrea Kimi Antonelli, trying to do the switchback. Not quite able to get through as one of the Santalon cars, that's Esteban Masson, getting down the inside of Nikhil Bora through turn 1. They're side by side. Antonelli to the left of screen now, trying to go around the outside of Michael Belov. And we've got lots of fighting going on there. Bora fighting away with Masson. Tangavelu fighting away with Levente Ravesh as well. Up the hill though, it's Stenshorn leading from Lorenzo Flusha. All the top 10 right with each other. At the back in the orange MP, there we see the likes of Sami Megatuniv and Delano Bantov, the two teammates, right on the back of, it's Rafa Kamara to the right of picture there, goes side by side with one of the Trident cars. That's Tangavelu. He cuts across the circuit, and Rafa Kamara now goes round the outside, and he's going to take the place. I think Tangavelu backing off there as he cut over the chicane to avoid any penalties. Good driving from Kamara. He's up to P14 now. This is good given the start of the race. He was out of the top 20 even at one stage, so Kamara putting in a good recovery process here. We'll keep an eye on Tim Tramnitz as well. He's still in P22 so far, but could we see him climbing up the order? Lawrence Van Hoopen there in the white and black ART will be their best result of the season so far if he can take this 5th place, but he'll want more than that. He'll want P4, and he's getting closer and closer to Matteo Capietto. We might see them dive out the train. Do we see Van Hoopen in 5th in the queue get close enough? Well, he feels the mirrors of Capietto. Says hello to him under braking, trying to put him under pressure, but didn't quite work that time. So Van Hoopen gets closer. Belov and Antonelli fighting away, and also Megatunev trying to make places as well. Here's Ramos resuming a fight with an MP car. This time it's a different one. It's not Sami Megatunev, it's Delano Bantov, and it's not for P9, it's now for P10. Wants to get himself that additional point. Every single one helps going forward in a championship like this. The incident between Matteo Zagazzetta and Alessandro Giusti will be investigated after the race. Oh no, we've got another safety car. Well, that's Giovanni Maschio to the right of screen, and I think that's Lucas Medina to the left of screen. The back of his car in a horrible state. I think this is how the race will end in that case, because that incident will take a bit of time to clear up. Even if it was a simple clear up, it would still, I'd say, end under the safety car. Let's see what happened then. So Medina spins, oh no, and Maschio just collects the back of him. That was a really unfortunate incident. Wrong place, wrong time for Giovanni Maschio. I don't know what caused the spin there for Medina. But there we see the 99 being cleared up. and the safety car is out. And it's the Santilot car that's spun. Not a real shame, and this is how the race will end in that case. All the cars gathered up behind the safety car now. Just having a look, it was Lucas Medina that did take that spin. He and Emo Fittipaldi Jr. were close to each other on circuit, but Fittipaldi has come across the start-finish line. Well, it looks like it'll be another win. There's Giovanni Maschio. That's a shame for him. He was feeling quite confident going into this race, actually, that they'd found some pace in the car, and that was reflected in his qualifying performance. Started higher than he did yesterday by 3 or 4 rows on the grid. And a shame for Medina. It's going to be 2 DNFs for him this weekend. And there we see the Colombian driver, Lucas Medina, just walking away from the car. It's been a bit of a difficult start to the season, difficult 2 or 3 races now. It's 3 DNFs for him on the bounce, so we'll want to get some finishes back on the board at Spa and try and make some progress in the championship, which is incredibly difficult to be consistent in, but one driver who's doing that very well is Martinius Stenchor. Safety car will be in this lap, so will we get one more lap in that case? Well, there we go. We will have the 1 additional lap. Great work by the marshals to get that one cleared up so fast. And it looks like we will get the 1 more lap. Well, there we go. Those of you who have waited around will be rewarded with 1 more lap. This is going to be the final chance to make any places up. Martinius Stenchor leading us through the penultimate corner and up towards the last corner. We will get 1 more lap of racing. Time has run out, but there is 1 more lap to go, and here we go. Maceo Capietto in P4 there, right behind Josh Dufek, using his push-to-pass system as well. Heading down the start-finish straight we go, in towards turn number 1. Does that green and orange RPM dive out the slipstream? It does. Dufek wise to it. Capietto now goes for the outside. Dufek is going to force him wide, no doubt, and Capietto is going to have to try and complete this move in towards turn number 2. Capietto diving down the inside, and that is a change for 3rd place. Maceo Capietto puts the RPM car on the podium. Absolutely superb driving. It's going to be back-to-back podiums for that team. 4th place now. We've got Dufek under pressure from Lawrence Van Hoopen. Will he get down the inside in towards turn number 5? No, can't quite do it. Belinsky there with P6. Kimi Antonelli in 7th. Then it's Megatuniv, then Ramos, then Delano Vanthoff. Dufek will be very frustrated with that one as they come now through turns 8 and 9. Martinius Stenchor doing a great job out front. I'll tell you what, Capietto closing in on Flucher here, but I think Flucher will have just enough of an advantage to take it to the checkered flag. Down the hill in towards turn number 12 we go. And Martinius Stenchor leading the way here up to the final 2 corners. This will be his 3rd win of the season. He won from pole yesterday, this time on 2nd. Martinius Stenchor took it up, and this is going to very comfortably put him ahead of the rest of the field in the fight for the championship. Martinius Stenchor out the final corner, takes the checkered flag, and his 3rd win of the season. Lorenzo Flucher puts himself on the podium for the first time this season, and Maceo Capietto gets his 1st ever podium in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine, giving the RPM team back-to-back podiums in what has been a superb 2nd season for them in this championship. Josh Dufek will be disappointed to have started pole and dropped to 4th, but good points on the board for him. Lawrence Van Hoopen gets ART, their best result in proceedings so far. Speaking of, Roman Belinsky, also a best result for him so far this season. Kimi Antonelli, some vital points there in 7th. Megatuniv doing a great job to work his way through the field and get 8th. Ramos in P9, Vanthoff in P10. And there is the standings on the screen for you. Rafa Kamara did a solid job in just missing out on points in the end, the PREMA driver. Esteban Masson in P12, Nikhil Bora coming up from 20th on the grid to finish 13th, Owen Tangavelu in 14th, Joshua Dirksen in 15th place. Levente Ravesh was P16 on his home race. Then we have Tim Tramnitz, Kidal Smale, Adam Fitzgerald, Victor Bernier. A disappointing weekend for him, but he'll bounce back, no doubt. Marcus Amand is next, then Charlie Wirtz, Tom Leben, Enzo Scionti, Maya Verg, Michael Beloff, Emo Fittipaldi Jr., Lucas Medina, Giovanni Maschio finishing in 29th place. And then behind that, we had Matteo Zagazzetta, Alessandro Giusti, Kaz Havakor, Niels Kolen, and Alex Partishev. Well, a great result for Martini Stenchon for RSGP. Really taking control now in this championship. He's going to be over 30 points clear of the rest of the field with that result. Lorenzo Flusha bringing himself into contention. He was sat in 8th place on 26 points, but he will boost up the order and close the gap to the likes of Kaz Havakor and Andrea Kimi Antonelli. And when I spoke to Keith Donegan from RPM about their drivers, he said, speaking of Matteo Cappietto, he really needs a podium just to get in some points and get him back in the championship fight. And that's exactly what he's done. Absolutely superb drive from Lorenzo Flusha as well to hold off the pressure of Dufek throughout the entire race. What a way to take your first podium for Matteo Cappietto as well. He'll be absolutely over the moon with that. A round of applause all round as our winner for the 3rd time this season pulls into place. 6 rookie wins all in a row. He's going to break that record, no doubt, set by Isaac Hadjar of 8 in his first season. And Martini Stenchon climbs out the car. It's top step for the 3rd time this year for the RHGP driver. What a superb performance. Who would have thought we would have a rookie driver so comfortably ahead of the rest of the field? Just 3 rounds in, and Martini Stenchon has given himself a big bit of breathing space now. Lorenzo Flusha will be very happy with that. A driver we always know can finish on the podium. He's done it before. He's back there again. And Matteo Cappietto on the podium as well. He'll be very happy with that one. Josh Dufek, P4, not the result we would have hoped for, like I said, but nevertheless, solid points for him. And Van Hoopen, good to see him turning around what had been a fairly miserable season so far for ART. They are starting to get back to the ART we all know, and Matteo Cappietto, no doubt, talking about that move. What a race it was. Let's watch back the highlights. I'm sure this was hard to condense down with all the action that happened during it. It was a great launch for the car on the left there. Martini Stenchon, he got the jump on Josh Dufek, and that allowed him to take the lead of the race going in towards turn number 1. Lorenzo Flusha going side by side with him, trying to get the lead, but in the end had to concede position and slot back into 2nd place. This was the first incident. Alex Partishev that was out of control going into the side of Niels Kolen and Charlie Wirtz. 3 drivers there, unfortunately, all out of the race. That was our first safety car, and we went back racing once more, and Kaz Havakor was fighting away very hard with Tim Tramnitz, and that is where our next incident came from. Kaz Havakor out the race. Tim Tramnitz got going again, eventually recovering to 17th place, which was an impressive performance from him. Then we went back racing once more. This time we see Dufek there in 3rd place. He's trying to catch up, but our next incident came from Alessandro Giusti and Matthias Zagazzetta. Not taking a finish for the first time. Frustration for Matthias, very, very clear. His teammate, Stenchon, would lead the way as then came the next incident. Lucas Medina spinning, Giovanni Maschio with nowhere else to go but straight into the side of him. And then we had 1 lap to decide things at the front. Stenchon, though, unchallenged as he came across the start-finish line. Superb performance from him. He takes his third win of the season. You can't get this man off the podium in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. And now the celebrations will be about to commence. There is the RSGP team. Very, very happy. It's been a fantastic season for them so far. Not the best races for Tim Tramnitz and Mateusz Zagazzetta, but Martinius Stenchel putting them on the top stake. Here we see Matteo Capietto out on the podium. Lorenzo Fluscia, likewise, his first podium of the season. Matteo Capietto taking his first one ever. But Martinius Stenchel is getting used to what this site is. The top step for him once again. RSGP on the top step. Team representative comes out. And there we can see we will now get the national anthem of Norway.
Congratulations, guys, and here comes the trophies. First of all, from Arturo Ferrari.
The national anthem of Norway as Martinius Stenchel. Top step for him, but first trophy going to Matteo Capietto in third place. So far this season, he had been very consistent. Best result of 5th so far, but he'd always been in the top 10. He'd had a DNF in the first race of the season, but since then recovering well. He was on 19 points. He's going to add to that significantly now and gain a few places to move him a little bit further up the top 10. Lorenzo Fluscia, likewise, 2 4th-place finishes for him so far this season. Well, his best results, but he's improved on that with a second. And there we see Martinius Stenchel. 3 wins for him now. RSGP lead the way in the team standings and will extend that gap with this as well. So superb job from them. And the rookie trophy as well, going to the driver on the top step. We've seen it happen before, but we're seeing it happen quite frequently now. I think Martinius is going to run out of places to put all these trophies the way he's going at.
Guys, the time is yours. Let's do some photos.
And we will get the photos now of the guys, and as we do, let's remind you where we're going to be next time. Our 4th round will be at Spa on the 30th of June and 1st of July. We're there to support the Spa 24 hours. You can tell it's his first time forgetting to jump onto the top step for the pictures there. He'll get more used to it, I'm sure. I don't think that's the first time we're going to see him on there. And straight after that, the week after, we will go to Mugello, and 2 weeks after that, we will be at Paul Ricard. So lots of rounds coming thick and fast in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. We had to wait a month for this one after round 2, but now we really get into the swing of things. Make sure you join us at Spa in a couple of weeks. For now, though, from all of us here at the Hungaroring, it's goodbye.